Good evening. I call the meeting to order. Welcome to the first meeting of the North Rose-Wolcott Board of Education meeting in 2026. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first order of business tonight is approval of the agenda. Motion, please. Casey and Linda, any discussion? All in favor of approving tonight's agenda? Motion is carried. Tonight we have a presentation from our superintendent. I'll turn the meeting over to him.
Thank you, Mrs. Collier. Just want to say welcome back. I hope you all had great holidays with your families. This is just a real brief update, just a quick overview of a few things. I want to start off by recognizing one of our students. You'll recall last year, Parker received recognition from Assemblyman Manctalo, and I'm not sure if you were able to see this or not, but earlier this week, Channel 8 ran a piece on him, and I believe it's been posted to our Facebook page as well. So we're very proud of Parker maybe and the work that he's been doing. It's pretty neat last year when you clicked on his YouTube page to see all the headstones that he's been able to restore. And, it's just taken on a life of its own. And so looking at that piece and watching it, and I'll spare you from presenting it here unless you want me to play it, but it's always nice when our students are out in the public being recognized. And I think that that's great that he's going for a Boy Scout award as well. So I don't know if this is an Eagle Scout project or where he's at, if it's just a badge, but it's pretty phenomenal thing. And the number of graveyards he's been able to hit locally and the stories he's been able to tell and share, I'm pretty pleased for him, and I'm pretty proud of him as well. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that and say what a great job he continues to do with that Gone Graving website. I also want to take a moment to thank the community for the support of the 2025 Capital Improvement Project vote. I know that that's going to be a point of conversation with the board tonight. That's on your agenda. Just want to say how important it is to restore our physical plant and to offer up the conversation piece being, they're going to see a return on their investment because we're preserving our facilities and enhancing much of what we do for the next several years. So I know it's a substantial commitment, but it's one that I think is worthy, and it's one that I think is going to benefit our students for a very long time. So up at the top right-hand side, those three pictures are the new boilers that are in the elementary school. And you'll know that work started last spring and it was complete, and we fired those boilers up last spring. And I would have to venture to guess that they've made a significant difference in the elementary school because we knew those boilers were on their last legs, so we prioritized that once we got the board approval, and we moved forward with that. Couple of other quick things that we haven't been able to actually get out on yet, but we're eagerly anticipating, and maybe with the warm weather they went out there today. But if they didn't, I'm hoping in the very near future they will enjoy this new playground. So you see a little bird's eye view of the playground, and you look at the enhancements over on the left from when the construction actually started, and then you see the rope climbing ladders. And then the surface that's underneath it is really state-of-the-art surface. And we've been waiting for the final approval from the architects and the engineers to say everything on the punch list has been taken care of with the actual surface so that the children could get out there. And I know Mrs. Hake and Ben Stopka, Mr. Stopka, want to get out and do a ribbon cutting ceremony later in the spring. And they may do something where they do a soft opening per se, and then do a ribbon cutting later in the spring. But the playground is really a phenomenal addition to the academic environment down there at North Rose-Wolcott Elementary. This is something that not too many people get excited about unless it starts to rain on their head. But the roof portion of the project that we completed over here on the high school, just showing you a couple of pictures of what it was, and then where in proximity to the high school physical plant it is located. So that work has been completed. Elmer Davis did a fantastic job for us with that. And then they went down to remediate a piece of the current transportation facility to get us a few more years out of that. This piece here is really exciting to see. So it's a three-part point of view from our elementary. This picture of the excavator is actually where the new front entrance is going to go. And then that brick wall is actually part of the original structure. When you peel back the sheetrock, and I know you can't see it on this particular image, but just the pattern in which they laid the brick and the different geometrical shapes and the craftsmanship that was used back then. And then the picture on the right is actually on the inside where that excavator is, and you're looking out, so you're facing north. So that doorway is part of where the new entranceway will go. So, you know, we talked about the secure entrance and where it was located not being adequate enough and actually putting us in a vulnerable spot when it came down to monitoring people entering in the building. So the new secure entrance is going to be right in the front of the building, and we're doing a ton of work to remediate that area right now and prep it for construction. So that's an exciting look at that. And then you may recall those bathrooms outside the high school auditorium. They've been long overdue, in need of improvement. So there's an inside look at those bathrooms last week. They've been completely demoed in terms of the structure. And then this is a look at those bathrooms this week. You know, they've got the new plumbing going in, the mini excavator digging out the foundation, and then the work that's actually going into that. The plumbers know they're on a time crunch because the musical is at the end of the month of February. We talked about what a marquee opportunity that would be for them to complete those bathrooms, for our public to walk into a facility that's been long overdue in need of a facelift. So that's really a priority for us, and the plumbers seem to be doing a great job with that. And I know Miss Sinclair and her staff have adjusted accordingly. And then this is a piece of outside work. You know, there's other work that's going on, but these pictures that I've kind of captured are just highlight some of the big ticket items. So this walkway that's actually going to make it more accessible, ADA compliant, mobility impaired compliant. The site work has actually happened with Malone Excavating. They're actually digging our pathway that runs to the west end of the practice field. So it's on the east side of the track. It's on the west end of the soccer practice field. It'll ultimately bring the community to the new tennis court location, and then it'll actually try and connect, for the most part, our athletic complex, so people will be able to walk on an asphalt surface over pretty close to where the baseball field exists right now, right to the back side of the bleachers. So they're doing that. They're putting in the drainage system to accommodate that. So a lot of good things that are happening here on campus with the 2023 project. And then the approval of the 2025 will just allow us to continue that momentum, finish off the work, the bulk of the work at the elementary and the bulk of the work at the high school. But wanted to stop for a second, see if you had any questions about this, or if you want me to wait for the discussion portion of your board comments. And then, unfortunately, you know, with just about everything these days, today we had to put out a message to the community. I was alerted to a social media post. I actually saw the video earlier today. Many schools saw this post that came out. School resource officers across the state, members of the FBI, members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and members of the New York State Troopers are all diligently working on this particular threat. No way, shape, or form does it mention North Rose-Wolcott. It does not mention any schools in Wayne County. And the version of the video that I've seen did not mention anything locally or even in our state. However, very similar to what went out on TikTok last year. I think out of an abundance of caution, we're promoting this message to our community just to kind of remind them if they see something, say something. There's our Safe Schools helpline. And just to be proactive to remind them nothing credible has come about with North Rose-Wolcott. But in the day and age we live with social media, it's very likely that at some point in time it'll take on a life of its own, very similar to the TikTok challenge. But I wanted to make you all as board members and our community aware that that's out there. So that's it for my updates. I think back on when we get back together on the 22nd, we'll get back into the thick of things with some more meaty presentations. But we just wanted to kick off the new year with something short and succinct. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pullen. I will tell the board that I was absolutely fascinated with the way this brickwork in the elementary school was done. For those of you who can't see it or don't know, in about 1 foot square pieces, the bricks were laid this way, and then in the next foot square, they're laid horizontally and then vertically through the whole thing. And yeah, I'm always just astounded at the way in the past people have figured out ways to do things to make everything stronger or an easier way to do something. So I did ask Mr. Pullen, if possible, if they could make a window somewhere along that wall to the wall so that you could see that and students and people could see what's behind the plaster. I just think it's fascinating. I don't know whether that'll be done or not, but I did request it. Is there any public access, Tina? None tonight. All right, thank you. We move on to the reports and correspondence. For the liaisons, Casey, do you have anything to report from the elementary?
I do.
Okay.
All right, so at the elementary, they had a wonderful week of holiday activities before the break and even had a visit from Santa. Every student in the school received a bag of presents to take home. We were also able to provide 14 families with food, clothing, household items, and wrapped gifts for the holiday break. They started back from break holding a town hall meeting for all grade levels to review expectations and come together to prepare a good start to the new year. This month, they have their iReady benchmark assessments for grades K through 4 in both reading and math. UPK will have their benchmark assessments as well. They are excited to see the progress that their students have made so far this year. Any student who shows growth will participate in an ice cream party. They also have some grade level competitions. Their SEL screeners for grades UPK through 4 will begin next week. This will help identify counseling groups as well as students who will participate in their primary project P groups. They will have Cubby Club on January 30th, where they will celebrate being understanding.
Very nice. Leslie, anything from the middle school?
Yes, I have something from the middle school. The middle school gets to look forward to midterms coming up. My kids actually mentioned half a day of school was what I got out of that. But the 20th to the 23rd, 5th through 8th grade will be having their midterms. And they'll also be doing their iReady as well as checking in on some of those benchmarks. The spelling bee is coming up on February 9th at 6 p.m. if any of us want to go watch. On January 26th, they will start their attendance grade level challenge for the 3rd quarter. So they're going to compete against each other to see who has the best attendance for the quarter. Students will be celebrated for the most iReady lessons completed in quarter 2, and 2 grade levels will be rewarded with a pizza party. So the data charts are posted in the cafeteria, and students get to see how their grades are progressing and how they're competing against each other to see where they're at. So good things happening.
Great, thank you. Travis, anything from the high school?
I do. At our grade level town hall meeting earlier this week, we welcomed students back, highlighted all the amazing things we are seeing, and shared that that the spring semester will begin at the end of the month. We are also communicated important information regarding the course selection processes for the 26-27 school year. We reviewed grade level data and emphasized the importance of consistent attendance and daily engagement. Midterm and Regents examinations will take place on Tuesday, January 20th through Friday, January 23rd, and students are actively preparing. There will be no regular classes during this time. Students will report to school only for their scheduled examinations. Our counseling center will hold a FAFSA and financial aid assistance session on January 27th. A representative from SUNY Oswego Financial Aid Office will be there to answer any questions. Our National Honor Society members hosted a blood drive in partnership with American Red Cross at the high school on December 17th. The drive collected 29 units of blood, which has the potential to help up to 87 people. Our next blood drive is April 24th, and community members are welcome to donate.
Wow, very good. John is out on excused absence again this month. Mark, is there anything you would want to add for Cougar Ops?
We are getting ready for our Regents exams coming up and the end of quarter 2. We're looking at our graduation plans for kids and having some parent meetings for some students to do mid-year check-ins on their graduation plans. So it's been good coming back from break.
Good, good, thank you. Linda, do you have anything to report from Fork County?
No, nothing over the holidays, but next Tuesday, prior to the general membership meeting, we'll be having a Ford County Board of Directors meeting, so I will have a report after that.
All right.
And then for Fort County Legislative, tomorrow I'll be attending the morning brunch with the senator and the representative, and that'll be interesting because they always listen carefully and follow through for us, which we really appreciate.
Good. Linda, I believe you are in need of being nominated officially by our board. Could you explain that to the board members?
Well, my term on BOCES is finishing this year, and in order to continue serving, I need to be renominated so that I can run. And that has to be submitted by mid-March.
Is there a particular form we need to do, or is there, can we just do it verbally, a motion verbally at the meeting if it's recorded in the minutes?
I think that's all that's needed. I'm trying to remember what happened 3 years ago.
All right.
They'll send me forms for us to, they'll tell us, they'll send me information.
And then we'll
Right.
do it, okay.
Right, right.
As soon as I get something about nominating someone, I will send it on.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, because we want to be sure to get Linda nominated.
Yes,
It is
it's
really
something-
to our benefit to
Yeah.
have your presence in those organizations, and we appreciate your leadership there and the time you give, but it does help us as well, so.
It's challenging and rewarding. I do want to add something that's personally sad to me in terms of BOCES, that we are going to be searching for a new superintendent in the next few months. Lynn has been an outstanding superintendent. She's going to be missed. So.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Travis, is there anything from Safety Committee?
I got a few things I can share. District Safety met on December 17th. John Kelly, Coordinator of Safety and Security for Wayne Finger Lakes BOCES, gave a presentation on digital dangers, which talked about how to protect our youth against online predators. And the District Safety Committee debriefed on the Go Home Early and reunification drill that happened back on November 21st. It was reported by the independent observers that there was an improvement across all 3 schools compared to last year. So that's good. And District Safety will meet again on January 14th.
Ah, okay.
And I've got nothing for Audit Committee.
Oh, all right, that takes care of that. Linda, anything from handbook?
No, because everyone has their completed handbook. There is nothing until next
Okay.
year.
All right. Tina, anything from communications?
We'll address that under our discussion.
All right. John isn't here for personnel, but I can attest that there is nothing going on at that committee. Leslie, is there anything from policy?
Yeah, we have had a chance to meet and we're trying to catch up on cleaning up the policies. Next agenda, there will be quite a few for us to either delete or keep as is. So Tina will include that in the next agenda. So
Okay,
be
good.
prepared to read a lot of
All
policies.
right, good. A lot of reading for us then. Our student representatives aren't with us tonight. My suspicion is they're busy doing other school things. So we miss them and we'll catch up with them another month. We come to the consent agenda at this time. A motion, please, to approve the consent agenda. Tina and Linda. Is there any discussion? This goes through page 3 at the top. I know you've got this early, so you've had a chance to look it over. Anything? All right, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? Motion is carried. We're on page 3, number 6. Items requiring a roll call vote. A motion, please, to approve the bond resolution for the capital improvement project. Travis and Leslie. Discussion. That goes through page 5, near the bottom. All right, hearing none. Tina, would you call the roll?
Cinda,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
John is absent. Casey? Yes. Linda?
Yes.
Leslie?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Motion carried. Number 2, another roll call vote. A motion, please, to approve the consultant agreement. Linda and Leslie. Discussion. Tina, would you call the roll?
Cinda,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
John is absent. Casey? Yes. Linda?
Yes.
Leslie?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
We come now to the board member requests, comments, and discussion. We have open workshops coming up in the second meeting of the month. And we have an opportunity to decide what that topic will be. There are 2 that have been presented, or that will be presented. One is by me and one is by Leslie. The first one is the capital improvement project that was voted on in December, and in general, capital improvement projects. Um, I, it is, I think it would be beneficial for the board to discuss how the board can improve our communication with capital improvement projects, so that the community has a better understanding of what has been done and what is being projected. Um, so that is one that I would like to offer as a workshop topic. And according to our handbook, any member in the board can bring forth a topic, but it's the board as a whole who decides what they want to discuss. So I'm asking the board if you would like to do that. Would you like to discuss capital improvement, an assessment of our role and how we can help the public understand? Is that something you would like to put on the workshop list or not?
I think so. Considering how close the vote was, I think it would be an important workshop and something for us to understand a little better.
I agree.
Do you? Okay.
And in today's world, with other ways of people expressing their opinion, digitally and so on, I think it's important to get the facts straight. And the board certainly is in a position to do that. So
Thank you.
I don't know if everybody heard
All
me.
right, Linda. Travis, what do you think?
No, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think it would be a good thing for us to look at, see why the vote was so close, and what we can do to improve our communication with the public. I think there was a lot of misunderstanding about what was in the proposal and what wasn't, and I think we need to do a better job of clarifying that to the public.
Casey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's important, for the community to understand exactly what they're voting on. I do believe that there were many opportunities, for engagement that maybe were missed or that members maybe decided not to, engage in, which is unfortunate as well. I do think that the voter turnout was also low, so I think it's important for community members to know that their voice matters, and there were quite a few opportunities for them to engage and understand what they were voting on. So how to get
Yeah,
people to come and really understand the opportunities that are presented.
yeah. Yeah, I do believe the people that Mr. Pullen was able to reach did understand. But there were a lot out there who weren't part of those groups or didn't. So thank you for all you did, Mr. Pullen. But I think we need to step up ourselves and we need to discuss it. So, okay, we'll put that on the workshop list. And Leslie, you suggested some curriculum articulation. Would you want to explain what you're thinking about?
Yeah, explain my wonder, my question. Just coming from a board member perspective that we're not in the classrooms every day, we don't necessarily know what curriculums are being used, or at least I'm a newer board member, so I'm not aware of all of the different curriculums. I would be interested to know what curriculums we use and how the schools feel like they're being effective or not effective, or there's some they want to change soon that we would need to approve, so we would need to understand the reasons why. Especially with the elementary school, considering how vital reading is, how is that going with our curriculum? Is there some improvements there? I know we've started some great stuff in the UPK and the other levels, but I just feel really strongly that we need to make sure our kids can read really well, because then that opens so many doors for education further along. So we need to make sure it's robust at the elementary school. And I don't know enough about what we use to make a decision about how effective it is. So I would like to know more. If anyone else wants to as well. I don't
Anyone
know.
have comments or thoughts or questions for Leslie? I think, Travis, did you?
I mean, as a newer board member myself, I'm not as familiar with their curriculum as I probably should be. I don't know if that's, I would be open, I guess, if there was a workshop put together to help us better understand the curriculum, I guess. I don't know if we need to, I don't know if it would be per building or how that would work either.
Yeah, that's a
You
good
know,
one, yeah.
if it would just be in
Good
general, this is what we use at elementary school, middle school, high school, all on the same day, or if, so I don't know how that would work either. I do have questions.
All right, all right. Linda?
I just want to make a comment as someone that's been on the board for 11 years. I remember a time when our pre-K students and our kindergarten students were not getting much skill development, and I know there have been a lot of improvements over those years, and we even have students in kindergarten that are readers. So I've seen some progress. I don't feel that it's as serious an issue as it was in the past, and I think we're moving forward with that. But I think it's always good to share information, and if you don't have that information, you will wonder about it.
Casey, do you have any thoughts on that? Questions or?
I don't. I think as a board, the more we know and understand, I think it just helps us. Yeah, I think it would be time well spent.
Tina?
Yeah, I know we get the updates. We certainly get the presentations. We hear the building plan. But I guess, you know, again, the more information we'd have, with the understanding it's for information gathering, not questioning. You know, I think we want to be careful on that. That's all. And that's
Yeah,
not
not
what you're
trying to
suggesting.
point
No,
fingers and be
nope,
critical. I
nope,
just
you're
wanna
not.
understand.
I'm not saying you are.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when the presentation is planned, I hope they understand that. That's all.
Sure, yeah.
Because it could get sticky.
I would think it might be good to add to that the New York State's understanding of the New York State standards that are set for the different grade levels. As a former teacher, it's overwhelming, particularly at the elementary school, with the scope of things that you have to cover besides the basics.
Yeah.
And I think the board needs to know that as well. And I would caution as a presentation is, we can talk about that, but as a presentation is put together, I would always caution the board to remember their role is looking down from that 30,000-foot level, and that understanding is good, supporting is good, but the board doesn't get to choose and select and pick. That's the job of the superintendent, the principals, the teachers. They know what they need. They're in the trenches. So, yeah.
I guess at this point too, if we're going to do this, I'd rather have it be a full, across all curriculum to include math and the full literacy piece with writing, not just limited to the reading piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand the whole scope.
Yeah.
It's always easy to take one piece and say, okay, now this is what we should be putting the pressure on there, and yet there's all the rest of this that has to be done too, and there's only so much time in a day and so much children can absorb in a day. So, yeah. And so much that when curriculums change, it's really an overwhelming job for teachers who have to maybe teach a different way, teach different concepts, do away with what was working really well, and suddenly you've got to do something else. It can be an overwhelming job, no doubt about it. So, yeah, it's important the board understand, so that when the time comes, the board is ready to support changes, and
Yes.
whether it be buying new programs or adding help. You never know where that might take you. So, Mr. Superintendent, we'll talk, do you think that we'll talk about it in agenda setting and come up with what is best to do this coming, on the 22nd, I believe, the 22nd.
Yeah, I certainly could give you a couple proposals with respect to responding to that, so that way
Okay.
everybody's got the same information. You know, these two are certainly worthy topics, and then we have the budget workshop
Yes,
that
we
comes
do.
up in April.
Yes.
You know, so that gives us at least one more for probably March. My assumption is we'll do one in January, we'll do one in February, and then we have one open-ended workshop possibility in March, and then the board budget workshop will be in April still, which has been
Wow.
consistent for the past 6 years. So, yeah, we'll put something together, I'll turn it around, and then you guys can weigh in on.
I think that curriculum is such a broad,
That's probably
it's so
February.
big, I think it probably could take two of them, two meetings easily.
Well, I think what I want to
So-
do is present it to you in a way that you get information up front, and then you can decide at the end of the workshop whether you need a second
How
one.
to proceed.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think that what we have to keep in perspective is for, you know, a pre-K through 12 scope and sequence, that's a massive undertaking. But I'll give it to you in digestible information and manageable bites. And then, you know, you will dictate whether that March one from February to March is a continuation.
Okay.
The other piece I want to just kind of call back to attention is to the point of having this conversation. So you're going to go through that exercise that we know our math curriculum needs support, and we probably need wholesale changes. So that's why the math curriculum committee started last year. And then they're going to be looking at some changes. Megan knows the process with respect to that committee making those recommendations and what the expectation is with respect to looking at 3 different programs, similar to what we would do with anything else, weighing those options, soliciting input, and then making a decision financially, and then bringing it to the board for a formal presentation. So you see the 3 curriculums that were looked at, the rationale as to why we chose the one we did, and then the expenditure that we anticipate the board supporting to improve our math curriculum.
Okay.
So I have no problem with anything you've said, but I do agree with you. It may need multiple meetings for the curriculum piece, but I'll give you manageable bites in February. I think given the nature of our background with capital improvement projects, let's start with that in January.
I would
Let's
like
start with what you guys have identified as areas in need of improvement, and then what your role could look like in future projects moving forward. And let's go.
Okay, all right. So we will plan on the 22nd then of a workshop dealing with the capital improvement. And I'd like to be part of the plan on that.
Perfect. Could you let me know also, with that in mind, do you want some of our design professionals there, or do you want this exclusively
No, I
in-house?
don't think so. No, I'm, at least my concern, Michael, was more, what can the board do?
Yep.
To reach our public?
Understood. Yep. I just want to offer it up
And to
because,
assess what we did and didn't do this time, and what can we do better next time, and,
understood.
yeah, more of that nature.
Perfect. Thank you.
And
Great.
making sure we understand the concerns the public might have had I mean, I know, and making sure we understand some of the concerns
I
we
think
might have had.
I just would caution us to go back to what Linda said with respect to the digital world we live in. There's information that gets changed constantly in the digital world, and I think that's kind of what's been hinted at here. So I think verbally, a lot of those concerns were shared with me. And quite frankly, no matter how many times we identified the reasons why we chose what we chose and the rationale to support it, it was refuted. And I don't know that we'll ever get to consensus on a different opinion. You guys can decide at that meeting whether that's something you want to do differently. I'm totally good with that. I just don't want us to think that we didn't respond to the feedback we got every time I went out to the public. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
I think
no, I know you did. It just,
this isn't to combat what you're saying. It's more about in general. Again, it's not tied to your opinion. It's totally perfect. Your opinion's great. It's more about the ever-changing information in the digital world we live in, similar to what I share right here. You know, there's a tie for local school districts that later tonight you may see on the news. Many people are putting this message out to combat this hoax, which again may have originated in Texas, is what we've heard. That's my point, is you're always going to chase something and you may never get the resolve you want.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it then at the workshop. Great. Is there any other workshops there or idea topics or other things that any board members want to discuss tonight? Okay. Any good news anyone particularly wants to share? We've had a lot of good news with our liaisons tonight. So, all right. Well, then we have completed our agenda. I'll request a motion to adjourn. Casey and Travis, any discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you for attending.